Namaste. Welcome to Embodied Unity. Welcome to your practice. I am Madison Nett, and I'm looking forward to sharing this yin class with you. We will need some props today. I have a couple of blocks and a bolster, maybe a blanket as well. If you do not have these props at home, first of all, I highly recommend getting them. I might do a little short video sometime just about props and their effectiveness in our practice, because they're really valuable tools to have. They really help you deepen into your practice quite a bit. But if you're not at that stage, or maybe you're traveling and don't have access to these items right now, totally okay. This practice is still accessible for you. So for a couple of our shapes, we'll need some elevation. So this can look like a couple of pillows stacked up. This can look like some blankets rolled and stacked up on top of each other, choosing whatever you have to get you some height for those ones. And then we're also going to do a wide-legged forward fold today. So I'll be using the blocks and the bolster for this shape. You can also use a chair, have a chair in front of you here, or even a bed, the edge of a couch, something that you can use to prop up your chest, so that we're not just like hanging here and overstressing these inner thigh muscles. So taking a moment to gather anything that you might need, maybe get you some tea or water to be able to fully drop in to this space, to this practice, and into your body. When you're ready, I'll guide us into our first shape. So we'll take those blocks. We're going to place them side by side at the top of our mat. And then our bolster will come on top. We're going to take our left thigh and bring it parallel to our prop stack here, so almost right up next to it. The shin is going to come out and be about parallel with this right edge of the mat. It does not have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like an exact right angle here. I don't have a name for this shape. I kind of made it up. So maybe one day I'll create a name for it, but for now I'm just going to describe it as we go. We'll send our right leg all the way back, and this does not have to be a super straight, active right leg. In fact, that's what we want to avoid. In our yin practice, we want to avoid engaging our muscles. So just let that right leg relax. And then we'll square the chest on our props here. And so starting with the elbows, as your chest is squared, noticing what that feels like for you. This position is activating, or kind of bringing some stress, as we call it in yin, kind of bringing some sensation to this outer part of the glute down into our IT band. So if you are feeling really intense already with your chest squared and the elbows on your props, you can bring that chest on over towards the right of your prop stack, so a little closer to that left knee, and that'll help decrease the sensation. So finding that perfect level of depth for your body as we come into this shape. And you can even relax all the way down with the chest and kind of lay on top of your prop stack. Our yin practice with these long holds gives us such a beautiful opportunity to really dive into the body and to be present with our feelings, to be present with the energies and the sensations that are occurring within and around us. So I'd like to start off our practice, I'd like to start off this hold with a little bit of noticing. So finding your comfortable spot. Whenever you're ready, closing down the eyes. Maybe finding a deep sighing exhale. And relaxing into this shape. As we relax and dive into this position, allowing yourself to notice Noticing anything that is present with you. What feelings are happening in the body? And keep it very surface level for now, just the very first thing that you notice. And that very first thing that's right on the surface, being present with it for a moment. Noticing what it's like to feel this thing in your body. And inviting in the spirit of curiosity. Can you inquire as to a level below? What are you feeling below this surface level sensation? Just going maybe one step deeper. What's there for you to notice? What does this one feel like in your body? And thanking this feeling for its wisdom, for its presence. And getting curious again about taking one more step deeper. You drop in another level. What is underneath this feeling? What does this one feel like in the body? What is it like to allow it to take up space within you? And thanking this feeling for its presence and its wisdom. Becoming curious again about what's underneath this one. Taking one more step down. What's it like to let this sensation take up space within you? And thanking this feeling for its presence and its wisdom. Allowing yourself to hold all of those levels of sensation, of feeling that you were able to find presence with. Thanking the complexity of your emotions, the ability of your body to hold them all. Let's take one more breath here. Nice and slow, we'll begin to press ourselves up out of this shape. We're going to draw this right foot in closer towards the glutes. Bring our left foot to meet the top of the right thigh, coming into our deer pose. So for a more yin style class, I like to just sit in this deer pose and really let the internal rotation of this right hip kind of sink in. If this feels too intense for you, you can bring your left forearm over to your prop stack here and kind of distribute some of your weight a little more to the left and take it out of this right hip a little bit. You can also, if you want to get a little more restorative about it, you can bring your chest fully down onto your prop stack that was still over here from our first shape. So choosing your adventure, noticing what it's like to be in this internal rotation of the right hip. Noticing what it's like to be present within yourself in this moment. Maybe noticing if there were any of those feelings that presented themselves to you as we dropped in deeper and deeper. Noticing if there were any that felt like they needed your attention. Bringing that feeling back into the body. One of those levels that maybe needs us to spend a little extra time there. Or maybe there was just a good feeling that you want to spend more time with and let inhabit your body a little longer. So just inviting one of them to come back in. Allowing it to once again take up space within you, maybe filling up your whole being if that feels comfortable. Maybe getting curious, letting yourself be open-minded. And asking this feeling, what do you want me to know? Letting your mind be open to receive any messages that this feeling might have for you. And thanking this feeling, thanking this message. Let's find 3 more deep breaths here. And we'll come out of this shape now. I like to bring my left hand down to the ground, kind of sink my weight over to the left. Maybe use the right hand to help that right knee up. We'll windshield wiper those knees nice and slow from side to side. And we're going to come into this shape on the other side. I'm going to flip around so that you can still kind of see me. Maybe you can just switch your orientation in front of your prop stack. So as we come over to our right side, bringing that right thigh parallel to your prop stack and sending shin out parallel-ish to the side of your mat. Left leg extending out long and starting by finding your sweet spot, your edge in this shape. So starting by squaring the chest, and if that's like, whoa, no thank you, maybe bringing chest closer to that right knee. Maybe bringing chest all the way down, the bolster. And this will also decrease the level of sensation a little bit. I find it to be more intense with my forearms up here, but since we'll be holding for about 5 minutes, let yourself be comfortable in that sweet spot of sensation. And maybe finding a deep open mouth exhale as we arrive. Letting yourself adjust if you need at any point so that you can honor your body's desires in this shape. In our yin practice, we have 3 main tenets, and those are to find your edge, to honor your edge, to be still, and to hold. And the last 2, they sound kind of similar, but I'll kind of tease them apart a little bit here. So first of all, finding that edge, finding that sweet spot of sensation in our own bodies. So we don't want to be to the point of pain. We never want to be sitting in pain at any point in a yoga practice. I had a teacher say once, lean into discomfort and lean away from pain. So I really like that, because in our yin practice, our edge does inherently come with a little bit of discomfort because we're holding for so many minutes here. So there is that little bit of edge of discomfort to these shapes that we're in. And this element of discomfort really helps to open up our fascia and all of these connective tissues that we're working with in yin. So honoring also the fact that this edge may change, that as we spend time holding these shapes, you may need to adjust a little bit. Maybe your body's asking to go a little deeper. Maybe it's asking you to back off and come away from the edge. And our second one's being still and holding. Being still more so focuses on this kind of fidgety element. So I'm using my hands a little bit to talk right now, which maybe need to remember to be more still. But this stillness also helps inform us about our edge. If we are holding in this shape and we're finding ourselves shifting our weight around and fidgeting, we can't get comfortable, that's a good sign that we're past the edge, that we need to walk it back a little bit. And holding is referencing this time that we spend in the shape. If you're spending, I usually go for about 5 minutes in each of these yin postures. And what they've found in studying our fascial tissues, this thin layer of tissue on top of the muscle, is that after 4 minutes or so, that's when our body fully releases into the sensation of the shape. Let's find one more deep breath here. Slowly pressing yourself up out of this shape. We'll draw that left foot in towards the glutes, nestling sole of the right foot on top of the left thigh. As we come into deer pose for the left hip, choosing whichever level for the upper body will be most comfortable for you, but still honoring the slight discomfort of your edge. So if this is too much to sit straight up, maybe send in that forearm to your props, taking a little bit of that weight out of your left hip. Or if you want to let your deer go to sleep, you can fully lay your chest down back onto the props. Either way, wherever you're at, you'll still experience this openness in a new direction for the left hip. So honoring your edge wherever it's at in this moment. And as you arrive into a comfortable position, closing down the eyes, and noticing what it's like to be present with your internal world. Noticing maybe any differences in your ability to be present with yourself in this moment versus at the beginning of class. If there is no difference, that's completely okay. As we sit in this shape for the next couple of minutes, I'd like to invite in this beautiful quote. Holy places, shrines, and altars, I've been all over in my travels, but I have never seen a place of pilgrimage more blissful than the body. Saraha. I've never seen a place of pilgrimage more blissful than the body. What's it like to feel into that for you? How has your pilgrimage with your body been throughout maybe your life, maybe the day? We'll spend the next couple minutes in this shape, just feeling into that. Letting yourself observe as objectively as possible. Obviously there will be feelings involved. Seeing if you can invite in the attitude of non-judgment as you reflect on your pilgrimage with your body. I spent a very long time trying to not be in my body. And part of me wants to grieve for that version of myself. But by taking this attitude of non-judgment, I'm able to hold grace and space for where she was at that time, for where I was at that time, and honor the place that my pilgrimage has brought me to today. Maybe you're currently in a place of not feeling very present in the body. Just letting that be an invitation. Invitation to explore, to dive deeper. And you're already doing that by showing up to this practice. Let's find 2 more deep breaths. Bring right hand down to the side and shift our weight over. We'll pull that left leg up, maybe using the hand to help out. And once more, we'll find some gentle windshield wipers with the knees side to side. The next shape that we'll come into is that wide-legged forward fold. So what I'll do with my props is take the blocks and set them on their third height side by side. My bolster is going to come to lean on top of those blocks, and then I'll be able to kind of hug the bolster with my forearms resting on the blocks. And so the further away that I have the blocks from my body, the bolster will decrease in angle. So that'll allow me to go a little deeper into this shape, and as deep as I choose. And again, if you don't have these props at home, you can come up to maybe the corner, the side of your bed, or to the side of a couch. Maybe bringing in a chair to slide right up to your chest with a blanket folded over the edge so you can kind of get a little cozier. So settling down wherever you're at. Trying to make sure you can still hear me with the microphone. This is probably good. And so we're not wanting to go to our fullest, deepest level of sensation right off the bat, because we will spend a few minutes here. So the level of sensation will deepen over time. So giving yourself kind of that space and that grace to hold here in stillness. Feeling into what it's like to have this support up against the chest. We've maybe explored some deep or potentially challenging sensations so far in our class. So can you just continue to let yourself hold yourself and your experience with loving presence, knowing that even if you are feeling challenging emotions, that is perfectly okay. The more that we practice presencing, this practice of being with ourselves, being with our internal world, no matter what we're feeling, the more we're able to understand our emotions, our nervous system, the more we're able to hold ourselves through the good and the bad. Breathing into whatever you're feeling. We're not trying to necessarily turn off the mind, because the mind and body are so interrelated. We're really just allowing ourselves to take our attention and our awareness from the mind and into the body. To allow the body to speak its wisdom. Sometimes this has to come through the mind. Let's find 5 more deep, present breaths. Slowly, gently, beginning to press up out of your fold. We're going to keep our bolster in play, but the blocks are going to come off to the side. And if you do not have a bolster at home, just bring those blankets or pillows back in that we were using in the first shape. We're going to bring the bolster lengthwise across the mat here. We're going to come into melting heart. So this looks a lot like puppy pose. The hips over the knees, and letting chest come down onto the bolster here. And I don't want to mess up my microphone situation. I'm just going to scoop that up. So snuggling your chest down to whatever degree is comfortable. And what I really like to invite for this melting heart is that the knees don't have to stay directly under the hips. You can kind of play around with your positioning here, because what we're going for is this opening in the spine, this extension through the spine. So this also is targeting our shoulder joint. So letting yourself find that sweet spot, that edge for yourself here, adjusting the bolster in whatever way suits you best. If you are someone who gets tight shoulders in downward facing dog, this posture is a great one to do regularly. And on a more energetic level, we are opening our hearts down towards the earth, and down into our props here. What's it like to breathe open the front body? What does having an open heart feel like for you? Maybe it's scary or intimidating. Maybe it feels like the most natural thing in the world. I'm just noticing. Noticing how this physical shape of the body can tell us so much about how we live our lives off the mat. Allowing the mind, body to notice without feeling the need to make stories. So if there's this noticing of, oh, it feels a little scary for me to be opening my heart, trying not to run away with why that might be, and just letting it be there. Maybe the why will end up revealing itself to you at some point. Maybe it won't. And for now, we can just allow ourselves to notice. For 5 more deep breaths. pressing into the hands, maybe rounding that low back a bit as you lift up. We'll walk those hands back in towards the body. We're going to sink it back into child's pose. So bringing those knees out as wide as your mat and taking that bolster or your pillows or your blankets, whatever you got, bringing them in between the thighs here. I'm going to flip around so that my microphone stays towards the camera. But you just go ahead and let yourself snuggle on down. Bringing chest to your props. Maybe finding an open mouth, sighing exhale as you arrive. Letting yourself sink into this shape. Sink into the comfort of your props. Letting yourself be held here. Letting your heart be held. Letting your body be held. And as we spend the next few minutes here in this shape, I'd like to read a passage from this lovely book by Lama Willa Baker, The Wakeful Body. I'll be beginning to incorporate some of the teachings of this book into my classes here on Embodied Unity. And they're centered around this idea of embodiment, of diving into the body and honoring its wisdom. So she shares this idea that I really love because it goes against the traditional thought of waking up. I'm sure you've all heard the term waking up, and in traditional yoga philosophy there's this idea of transcendence, of leaving the body and finding liberation through that, of trying to return to the oneness from which we came. I think that's really beautiful, and I think we chose to come down to this earth to live the human experience. And so for me, that means diving into the body and learning to understand its wisdom. So on this note, Lama Willa Baker says, "This is why, over time, I have come to think of the yogic Buddhist path not as a path of waking up, but as a path of waking down. Waking down does not mean just shifting attention to the area below your neck. It means exploring the wisdom of your embodied experience, from the physical to the sensory, from the sensory to the emotional to the energetic, and from the energetic to the conscious. It is about exploring the sacred world of feeling, breath, and sensation that is already present. I think of meditation as a path of waking down for another reason too. We can spend many years meditating and gathering profound insights. We can be inspired by noble ideas and aspirations. These insights, ideas, and aspirations might be powerful, but they can also remain locked in a conceptual box. If truths that we know with the conceptual mind, or that we glimpse with intuition, do not make it down into the body and nervous system, we will not really live them. The path of waking down does not transcend. It metabolizes. You don't need to leave anything behind. In fact, you cannot leave anything behind because your humanness is a part of you. Rather, on the path of waking down, what you are experiencing right here and right now is enough. It is more than enough. The here and now is the very stuff of liberation. the here and now is the very stuff of liberation. Breathing into your body in this here and now for 5 more breaths. Bringing those palms down to the mat, using the hands to slowly press back up off of your props. That was our last shape of class. So taking your time to journey down into your Shavasana today, finding anything along the way that would feel good, maybe happy baby, anything at all that would allow you to deepen into your rest. For our drifting into the here and now with Shavasana today, I'm going to play this beautiful drum for you all. This drum it lives in this gorgeous studio. It's been asking me to play her recently, so I thought I'd bring her in to share with you all. As you arrive onto your back, into the arms of the earth, finding an open mouth, sighing exhale one more time. Consciously relaxing all of those little muscles in the face, your eyebrows, your jaw, your neck. Allowing the shoulders to sink in towards the earth as the arms become heavy. And allowing the breath to deepen and slow, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your belly. As we drift, as we allow the mind to take a break, redirecting your awareness if it begins to wander back into the body and to the sounds of the drum. Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrichor Mukshiyayamritat Swaha Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrichor Mukshiyayamritat Swaha Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrichor Mukshiyayamritat Swaha Om. Slowly beginning to invite deeper breaths, more energetic breaths back into the body. Waking yourself back up with little wiggles and stretches as you feel ready. Eventually meeting back in a seat. But please take your sweet time to get there. Maybe moving through a fetal position or some rocking on the way up. When your journey does bring you back into a seat, invitation to place the hands on the body anywhere that feels comforting and grounding. Holding yourself and breathing into your own touch. What's it like to be present with yourself as we finish our time together today? Inviting hands into prayer at the heart if you'd like. Bowing the head in honor of the body. In honor of this pilgrimage that we are blessed to be able to experience. Thanking the body for its ability to wake you down. Thanking the body for its wisdom and the ways that it allows you to find your center, to find your truest self in there. And finding a breath of gratitude to yourself for taking this time today. Thanking yourself for making the devotion and the commitment to you and to the wisdom within. And thanking Mother Earth, who holds you as you move through this journey, as you walk this pilgrimage. May we all live in greater harmony with the earth and all her creatures. One last breath of gratitude for the wisdom tradition of yoga. Thanking this beautiful practice with its roots that extend back thousands of years. These ancient roots that we bring into today and into the future with new branches that bloom thousands of years, hopefully, into the future. Honoring the sacredness of the within, the without, and the all. The love, the light, and the shadow within me honors and bows to the love, the light, and the shadows within you. Sending you so much love to wherever you're at in your journey, and wishing you deeper presence as you wake down into the wisdom of the body. And I hope to see you on the mat again. Thank you.